Okay, so I am not an anime fan or anything like that. When it comes to anime, I have always respected it as an art form and everything. Growing up, I never watched like any anime specifically. Like I never watched Dragon Ball Z. I never watched Naruto growing up. I feel like most probably kids, growing up probably watched those kind of things. I didn't. And I've always like I said, I've always had a respect for like the art form and the animation and everything. And I do remember like as a kid, like, because I watched like a lot of my time, but I mean I still do, but like when growing up, I had the internet, I had a computer, so I watched a lot of YouTube growing up, and I do remember specifically there being times where I would watch like a fight scene from Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, and I had no context for what was actually going on in the anime or anything like that, but I just knew, wow, that's a really cool like animation or art, or the animation that was going on combined with the music and the voice acting, the intense voice acting with the animation and everything in the fighting, like that always was like, wow, it's really cool. Like it always got me like hyped and excited, and I feel like that's probably with most people who are fans of like anime, like when they watch a certain anime and it's able to get them hyped up or motivate themselves or like get them emotional. I feel like that's one of the main reasons why people like anime so much. But like I said, I never grew up watching anime or anything like that, and I always would like dip I would always like dip my toes into like anime. I would always like try to get into like an anime. I remember specifically like I would try to get into like Cowboy Bebop. I think I tried to get into, never finished that. Death Note was another anime where I think I watched like maybe like the first season, or like I watched the first couple episodes, and it was like good, but I was like, I don't know if this is not really for me. And then I think I even tried to get into like Naruto at one point, and I think I watched like the first episode, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. But I always like I said, I always like respected it as an art form. And so going into this year, I did not know that specifically with this anime that I'm about to talk, and specifically with the character that I'm about to talk about, I did not expect for this anime to legitimately be like one of my favorite like TV shows of this year. And it didn't even technically, I guess, come out this year. It came out last year, but it came out late last year. Or I guess the final season came out late last year. And the anime that I'm talking about is My Hero Academia. I binge watched the crap out of this show. It literally took me 1 month to watch all the episodes. That's how addicted I was to this show. Like I literally would like sit down to watch, like I would always like tell myself, okay, I'm gonna watch 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 episodes, and then I'm gonna like stop, and then I would end up like accidentally just watching the whole entire series in one go, the whole entire season in one go, in one night. That's how addicted I was to the show, and I didn't plan on watching this show or even like ending up like absolutely loving this show or anything like that. But I don't know. I think I don't know. One day I just saw like some clips of like the show and everything, and people talking about it, and I was like, okay, so this is an anime, right? And I don't usually watch anime, but like this is an anime, and it's about superheroes. And for me, that's always been like my main thing, like growing up. But like even now, like I think I just have a deep love and like respect for like just superhero, like anything, whether that be DC, Marvel, some of my favorite superheroes being Batman, Spider-Man, Daredevil too. And so I was like, okay, let me give this a shot, because it is like superhero based, so maybe that will actually like get me into like anime finally, because it's, you know, based in superheroes, and so it's probably the easiest way for me to get into, you know, anime like this, or anime in general. And so, like I said, I watched the whole entire series, ended up loving it, but this is not what this video is about. This video specifically is talking about Deku, or Izuku Midoriya. That's the character. That's the main character's name in the show. But I wanted to make a video just talking about how this character might be, because when I talk about like my favorite superheroes of all time, you know, I talk about Spider-Man, I talk about Batman, like I said, I talked about I said Daredevil, and that's like maybe top 3 like my favorite superheroes. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if he's like necessarily up there with, because Spider-Man and Spider-Man, they're just on a whole entire like level. Like it's just like, it's different, okay? Like you just can't compare. I feel like. But I'm not gonna lie, Deku might be one of my favorite, like recently, one of my favorite superheroes that I can think of, just of recently, I think. And I don't know if he's like one of my favorite superheroes of all time, because that's still like a high bar, but like he's definitely like up there. And I say this because like the character is so I don't know, maybe maybe I do relate to this character a lot, because he starts the show being, his whole thing is that like he's quirkless, and in the show, like most, if like not everyone in the population of the world, they have a quirk, which basically means they have some sort of like superpower or something like that. And the mass majority of people have superpowers, but he is the only one that, or not, he's not the only one, but he's in the like the least majority of people who don't have a quirk. And the whole entire show is basically him you know, battling battling with the you know, with trying to be a hero despite not having a quirk. But obviously, you know, in the first season he does get a quirk. He gets the quirk from All Might. You know, he gives him a quirk, or he gives him the quirk called One for All, which is basically like the most OP superpower quirk that you could probably ever have, I guess, or like whatever. Yeah, so the whole entire show is him trying to, you know, master this quirk and everything. And the one thing that I will say about this, like the one thing I will say about this character is that like when it comes to like just his endurance, and like, because literally there'll be times where like he's trying to master this power, or he's trying to like get better at being a hero, or like mastering One for All, and he's literally breaking his body. Like there's literally like just flicking his finger trying to use the power will like end up like breaking a bone in his finger, or like, you know, if he tries to like use his entire arm, like he might break the bones in like his entire arms. But even despite all of this, like he's breaking every single bone in his body, he's freaking having to go to like the hospital all the time, he still chooses to like be a hero, and like he's literally sacrificing his body to try to be a hero. And that's like one thing like I do respect about the character. He's also like very selfless. You know, at the beginning of the show, he has like I guess you want to call him like a rival named Bakugo, and like he's always like, Bakugo is like always picking on Deku. He's always like making him feel bad because he doesn't have a quirk and everything. And at the beginning of the show, there is a scene where Bakugo is like, you know, he's being trapped by like this monster, and he needs help, or like whatever. And Midoriya, without even thinking about it, he decides to like help him. And this is when he doesn't have a quirk or anything like that. And in that moment, he just decides to like act, or just decides to like help him in that moment, despite not having a quirk. And they emphasize on that because in that moment, like I said, he doesn't have a quirk, and he's willing to help this guy, even like I said, like this guy is like, Bakugo is basically his like high school or middle school like bully, but he's still willing to like sacrifice himself or like put his life on the line to like help him. And like that's like, I don't know, when it comes to like superheroes and like everything like that, this character really just embodies, I feel like, what it means to be like a selfless, you know, human being. Even like, you know, when it comes to like the villains in this show, there are moments where like people are like asking Deku or like asking Midoriya, hey, you do like, you realize that like you're probably gonna have to kill this villain because like he's just, there's no redeeming this this guy like at all. And like even with that, he's even like, no, like I want to save this person or I want to help this person. And like, I don't know, that to me that's just like really cool. I like respect that a lot. And, you know, if when a superhero is like willing to see other people's side or like see other people's sides of like just like trying to trying to like relate or see the villain's point of view basically. And like, I don't know, I just think that's really cool. I think another thing that I like about Deku as a character is that like he's always inspiring like other people, you know, especially with like oh my god, that freaking the sports festival, that arc was so good. The freaking fight between Deku and Todoroki, god Jesus, that fight was like, that's probably one of the coolest, like I said, bro, like when it comes to animes, like I can always respect like the fight scenes and everything. That fight scene, or I guess that like tournament fight that they have between each other, like just pure unadulterated just like spectacle, and like with the music and everything, and like how intense everything was. It was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But like not even just talking about like the fight itself, but just talking about like you know, Todoroki and that character in general. And I won't get into like specifically, or I won't get into like specifics with that character, but like there is a scene with like Deku is trying to get Todoroki to use his fire side, because if you know the anime, or you know the backstory with Todoroki, he hates his dad, and you know he refuses to use his left side, that's like his fire quirk, because you know his dad is trying to make him like this best, or he's trying to make him the best superhero ever. He's trying to like get him to surpass All Might, and like the dad is just an abusive dad, essentially, and so that's why he refuses to use his left side. But Deku is so intent on trying to get Todoroki to realize that like, hey, like just because your dad, don't let your dad's mistakes, or don't let your dad's like wrongdoings like prevent you from being a great superhero, essentially. And like that scene was like so good as well. Just talking about like, because I know this is like a thing that like ever since like I've heard about My Hero Academia and like Deku as a character, I think the one thing that I always like heard from other people is that like, oh, why is this character is always so emotional, he's like crying all the time, and everything, and people would make fun of like the character for that. And for me personally, like I mean, I guess I can understand people's like opinion on that, because he does like, there are like some of them are more like comical than anything, but there's a lot of like very emotional scenes where like he's a very emotional, and he's a very sensitive person. I can like, when I say I relate to this character, there's like, that's just one of the things that I relate to, because I'm a very sensitive person, and I can be moved and be emotional, I feel like, very easily if, you know, if there's something that's really touches me. And with him, like I said, yeah, he's a very emotional person, and for me, I don't know, like I don't want to say that makes the character even like cooler, but the fact that like, because I feel like they even say it in the show that like him being emotional and him being sensitive and him having empathy is not a weakness, it's a strength. Especially like, I feel like, you know, especially with superhero media in general, I feel like we've gotten a lot of like, and not to say like these shows are bad or anything. Like, I actually really enjoy shows like The Boys or like Invincible. But those shows are very cynical. They're very dark. And you know, especially when you have shows like The Boys and you have Homelander as a character, and he's basically like an evil Superman, and you have it feels like for the past like decade or so of us like, you know, getting like evil Superman all the time with like the Injustice games, and like even with like Invincible, you have Omni-Man, which is just basically essentially like another evil Superman. And not to say like those characters aren't like or bad because of that, but like I said, it's been so long, I feel like, since we've had genuine superheroes who choose empathy, who choose to be nice people. And you know, I feel like we're seeing that more, you know, especially with the Superman movie, with how that movie was able to like really show how Superman was is as a character. Like the fact that he, you know, chooses to be nice, he chooses to have empathy for people even if they don't have empathy for him. And that's like one of the things about, you know, Deku that I really admire. Like, you know, like I said, like his emotion, him willing to like reach out to other people, like especially with Shigaraki, because Shigaraki is such an interesting character just in the fact that like literally if that old grandma would have just helped Shigaraki in that moment, literally she could have prevented all this from happening. Like that's just like one of the things that like I think of. But yeah, Shigaraki is such an interesting character because it's just it's a testimony to how, like, you know, when we talk about superheroes and everything, I feel like the main thing that I feel like just gets overlooked, like the main thing that like we should take away from superheroes is that you don't have to be super powerful to like be a superhero. Like you can be a superhero, and this show I feel like teaches that just by like reaching out and trying to like help other people, like trying to like asking like just a random person that you don't know, like, hey, are you okay, or hey, how's your day going, or like just trying to like be a genuine nice person. I feel like that goes a long way, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. Like just saying or just asking someone, hey, are you okay, or hey, or are you all right, like really, that really helps someone. And like I don't know, like this show is like really, like, I don't know, I just feel like this show really teaches that too, and that's like one thing that I really do love. But there's also just like a lot of quotes that I just wanted to like read off as like, well, like this is not anything specific. I just really wanted to like like there's so many like scenes in this show where like Deku just says something and I'm just like, god dang, that was such a cool that was like such a good line, or it's like a good moment. It's yours, your quirk, not his. I won't let you hurt Koda. I will be strong so no one has to worry about me. If I can't save Eri, one small child who's relying on me to help her, then how can I call myself a hero who saves everybody? Second gear, third gear, top gear, gear shift, overdrive. And this is my favorite one. I see you, and you are nothing but a sad, lonely man. And just like the scene with like one of the episodes, like it's in the final season with, you know, Deku basically, you know, having the aid of like his classmates and every single hero trying to like stop All For One, and the moment of like him running towards like all for one, and everyone trying to lift him up and trying to like motivate him to keep going, and like everyone chanting like over and over again, you can do it, you got this, like, and like him, like, because like it, they go back, they basically it's kind of like a callback to like the first season, because in the first season there's a moment where Deku uses One for All, and he like positions his body in a way to like hit like a robot, and they like call back to that same exact scene, because in that first season he, you know, still hadn't mastered One for All. At that point he was still breaking like every single bone in his body, and in the last in the final season, in one of the last episodes, they call back to that scene and him using that same exact move, but him actually like doing it successfully and everything. It's just like, oh my god, that scene was so good as well. But like I said, man, I can gush about this character, about this show, bro, all day. This show is amazing. Like I said, it's white. Like I know this like year hasn't really begun. Like we're only in like the second month of the year, but I'm legitimately, this is probably like one of my favorite superhero shows of this year. And it didn't even come out this year, technically. And so because I know we still have a lot of other superhero TV shows, movies to go this year. You know, we still have Daredevil season 2, The Boys, Invincible, you know, Spider-Man. We're getting a new Spider-Man movie this year. We're getting Avengers Doomsday, and don't get me wrong, I'm very excited for all those projects to, you know, and everything. But I will not deny, man, like this show like really like set the bar high for me, and it's only the beginning of this year. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. Leave down in the comment section below, have you watched My Hero Academia? If you have, I don't know, leave down in the comment section below your favorite character. Is it Deku? Is it another character? Is it Bakugo? You damn nerd. Is it All Might? I mean, All Might I think is like probably one of my like other favorite characters from the show. I don't know, or just leave down what's your favorite anime, or what's your favorite anime character down in the comment section below. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one. So yeah, bye.